رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Mahmoud Alamad. I just wanted to tell you guys something about an experience that happened today that Sheikh Hamdi covered a little bit. Where a friend of mine, his name was Patrick, where subhanAllah, he is one of the most religious Christian people I know. He spends hours at the day at the church, like almost every day. At night, at day, when he has homework, when he doesn't have homework, he'd always spend time to church. And freshman year of high school, I'm a junior, this is 2 years ago, I started to get to know him a little bit, and I started to invite him to the MSA. The MSA is the Muslim Student Association. It's basically like the Muslim club where we organize like the khutbah and we have some Islamic talks and stuff. And he'd start coming to them, and he told me he used to be scared of Muslims. He tells me like he'd open up to me and say, you know, when I first came to high school, I was scared of you guys. I thought you guys were this and that. I said I was strange when I figured out you guys are just like normal people. You know, you just live life. I was like, yes, we're normal people, alhamdulillah. And he'd come every day and he'd try to disprove Islam to me. He tried to give arguments about Islam. Oh, what about this? Oh, what about this? And he'd always tell me about things in Christianity. But I'd flip the table, you know, I'd tell him, I'd disprove things in Christianity, I'd tell him the miracles of the Quran and certain things. And he started to get warmer and to get closer to Islam. And I remember I'd tell him things like this, and he'd say, yeah, right, I'm never going to be Muslim. Like, even at the end of my life, there's no way I'll be Muslim. And he had, like, there was in Islam, his heart was attached to not liking Islam. And alhamdulillah, day by day, I'd just get a little bit more Islam, a little more Islam. He'd start talking, we'd have conversations, and we'd talk about Islam a little bit more, and his heart would come a little warmer. Until last year, he used to come and he'd pray, he'd come to our khutbahs, where every Friday we have a khutbah with our little MSA, and he'd start coming to them. And he'd start to ask more questions about Islam. Oh, what do you guys do when you pray? What do you guys say? And I'd answer his questions. And then he started to come every day after school to pray Salat al-Dhuhr with us. Because after school, we come and we pray Salat al-Dhuhr with some of the Muslims. And alhamdulillah, every day, just ask a little bit more about Islam. And I'd tell him a little bit more. And every time he'd come to the masjid, he'd leave with more yaqeen and more like certainty in Islam. And subhanallah, the power of dua, where every single day I'd make sure to make dua, Ya Allah, guide this man, Ya Allah, guide him, every single day. Because I knew he was someone who, his heart was attached to Allah, but it was originally attached in the wrong way. But I knew that if I keep preaching to him, inshallah he'd come. And 2 days ago, after we prayed Dhuhr together, I started to talk about Islam. I'd go over things with the Quran with him, and he started to like, his mind started to become more open until we're talking, and he said, I want to become Muslim. I said, I want to become Muslim tomorrow. I'm going to take my shahada. I said, of course, I've been waiting for you to become Muslim, because I didn't want to push it at first, because maybe he wasn't ready, you know, maybe he wasn't committed. But he told me I want to become Muslim, because he'd come to me and he'd say things like, no, Jesus has to be God, and I'd disprove him and say, no, it doesn't make sense for a man to be God, a man who they believe have died. Just doesn't make sense. And then come and give him a little more information, and he said he wanted to take his shahada. And subhanallah, today after Salat al-Asr, he took his shahada and he became Muslim.
Takbir, takbir, takbir. Allahu Akbar.
SubhanAllah, shows how Allah guides who He wills. A man who would spend hours a day at the church, hours a day, worshipping Jesus, hours a day. SubhanAllah, 2 years later, after da'wah and whatnot, he accepted Islam. And it just shows that wallahi, Allah guides whom He pleases, and Allah guides whom He pleases, how He pleases. And the power of dua is strong. Anything in your life, any worry, anything at all, turn to Allah for dua. Because you don't know which dua is going to be accepted. Because you establish a connection with Allah, dua is a very powerful thing. And it's something that we need to make constantly 24/7 to maintain our relationship with Allah. So yeah, I just wanted to remind you guys and tell that experience, because alhamdulillah, I'm very happy about it. It was just like, it brought joy to my face to see that such a man could convert to Islam. How it really shows Allah guides whom He pleases.
جزاك الله خير.
جزاك الله خير يا محمود. Mahmoud, I have a question for you. If you have a good job and you collected $10 million, you'll be happy for 10 million. That's profits, pure profits. It's good. Yes, from halal. Yes, alhamdulillah. This guiding one person for the way of Allah, it is better than the whole dunya. The hadith of Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said, لأن يهدي الله بك رجلا واحدا خير لك مما طلعت عليه الشمس. If Allah guided one person because of you, that's better than the entire universe. The entire universe. Not 10 million, not 10 billion, not the money the oppressor reserved in Switzerland, billions. No, that's more than all of that. Better than all of that. And may Allah tabarak wa ta'ala give you the full reward of that. And may Allah help all of us. Wallahi, Yani Mahmoud, very special sample of youth here. But alhamdulillah, we have many youth also. They are working. Maybe some of them hidden, some of them we know, some of them we do not know. But alhamdulillah, we are happy with our youth. Jazakumullah khair. Inshallah, because of the dua, the power of the dua, inshallah, we'll pray to rak'ah now behind the Shaykh Uthman, and he will do dua in the second rak'ah. May Allah tabarak wa ta'ala protect the ummah and give us dignity and honor. May Allah tabarak wa ta'ala help us to be Muslim, to practice our Islam in the best way. May Allah tabarak wa ta'ala help us to have good leaders everywhere to lead the ummah to the right path. Inshallah, Shaykh Uthman. Inshallah.
جزاك الله خير. بارك الله فيك.
You can pray.